Go.
Alright, so we're in our grade 10 optics unit, and we're at a part where we're reviewing reflection off of mirrors before our quiz. So my students have some prior knowledge, and this is a fun activity to get them to do so that they can engage in the material in a unique way. So what we're going to be doing today is reviewing reflection, the rules for reflection off of concave mirrors, and we're going to be doing it using the corkboard and some thumbtacks. So first, to get started, we're going to play brain bag, just to get your minds on. So can anyone tell me an example of when light is reflecting off of a mirror? Yeah, Dave.
When you're looking at yourself in the mirror.
Oh, very good. You want to get a spray bag candy? All right, next question. Does anybody know an example of when it's reflecting off of a concave mirror specifically? Dave?
Those little things the girls carry in their purse. Those
Makeup.
Oh, those are flat mirrors. Nice try though. Very good try.
What about in parking garages?
Oh, very good. So
well
those
played.
ones are the ones that will bubble out. So that, do you know what that's called?
Convex.
Convex. Alright, very good class. Okay, so you can ask more questions when you have more students, but we're going to move on. Yeah, you can feel free to trade. Alright, save your snacks for later, please, class. So, we are going to be working on the rules we already know, specifically rules 1 and 3. So if we want to review those, rule number 1, can anyone read that out for me? Yes, Dave?
A light ray parallel to the principal axis is reflected through the focus. This is how the focus is defined.
Alright, so as you can see on our diagram, we're going to have a light ray that comes through the principal focus. Now when we're doing this, it's going to start from the tip of the object. And Katie, would you like to read rule number 3?
Yep. A light ray through the center of the curvature is reflected back onto itself. The reflected ray will return back on the same path.
Alright, so that's rule number 2, which is a great rule, but we're going to focus on rule number 3. Do you want to read that one?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
A light ray through F will reflect parallel to the principal axis. Do you notice any similarities between 1 and 3?
So if we look at rule 1 again, it reflects parallel to the principal axis and goes through the focus. Rule 3 is coming through the focus and reflecting parallel. So, does anyone notice any similarities?
Both, oh wait a minute. The light ray of 1 and the reflected ray of 3 are the same.
Yeah, so they're pretty much the
plane.
opposite of each other. Okay, great. So, starting with rule number 1, you guys can use some pins, whatever color you'd like. I'd like you to set your first pin at the top of the object. So they're going to actually come off of here. That's just for setup. You're going to need a pin at the point of your object, and then you can start with your first rule. So, Dave, you got to find your object first. So it's actually this arrow we're using. Yeah. There you go.
Tip of the arrow.
Yeah. And then so you can hold it on to there. So now using the pins, we're going to use the string as representing our light ray. So if it's going parallel, yeah, just like that, Dave, where do you need your next pin? Perfect. So you can anchor it, anchor the string, and then another one can be used to anchor once you've gone through the focal point. You want to make sure that it's precise so that we can find out where our image is going to end up. Alright, and so you want to have it extend. Remember our previous rules? You want to, yeah. So just making sure it goes through. Perfect. And then you can anchor that down, and then we're going to use rule number 3 to see where the rays intersect so that we can find our object.
Alright.
Alright, so the other light ray is also going to start from the same point on our object, just to keep it simple, and we're going to find out where the tip of the object will end up once it is reflected. So rule number 3.
Reflect parallel.
Very good. Alright. Yeah, sometimes the pins fall out. So you want to make sure that one goes through F, so you need, yeah, just like that.
Teach, am I doing this right?
That looks great. So now it's reflected parallel. You can anchor it, and then using a fun colored pin, you can pinpoint where you think the tip of the object will be reflected.
The tip of this object?
Mm-hmm. So using the light rays to see where they intersect.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, so it'll be right there. Where they bisect.
Alright, very good. So, now we're going to think about the characteristics of this object. If we were to draw it or imagine it being there. Oh, so yours is a little bit more off. Can we maybe figure out why? Maybe your string's tightened up, maybe?
It's not as tight.
Yeah. Who knows? Alright, so hers ended up a little bit different. So we're remembering to keep them parallel.
Where it bisects, dog.
Yeah. There we go. What a great classmate.
There we go.
Alright, so do you guys want to try to classify what the object will look like now? Do you think it will be the same size, larger, or smaller?
Oh, we learned this in psychology. It's going to be smaller.
Yeah, very good. Will it be upright or inverted?
It will be upright.
Inverted. I think.
Inverted. Do you want to explain why?
It reflects inverted.
Yeah, so we remember that we're using the tip of the object here. So if that ends up here, the object always needs to be connected to the principal axis. So that's how you know it
So
will
if
be
it's
inverted.
below the principal axis, it'll be flipped.
That's right, yeah. And then any other characteristics we could point out, we could note where it ends up is between behind the focus point, and then we can do it again by simply taking the pins out, maybe redrawing an object here, maybe here, or there, wherever you'd like, and you can just redo it and find out where they intersect, rather than focusing on drawing them. So
what's F? F is focal point?
Yeah.
What's C?
see, you can find it on your rules, remember the center of the curvature, but we are assuming that you have some prior knowledge here. The main idea of this activity is meant so that you're not focusing on drawing lines with a ruler and the accuracy in that sense, and the strings are really doing the work for you, so that students have a different way, a little bit less pressure on them when they're finding out where the object will end up, and then able to find its characteristics. So,
Sweet.
yeah. So then, as a final activity, you guys could continue doing this.
Playing with our objects.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay.